Okay, hi, welcome to another deck profile. This is going to be for my updated Vampire deck profile, which they got some support a little while ago, and then I've been just playtesting it, and it's really fun. And kind of deadly in certain circumstances. But yeah, anyway, enough of me blabbing, let's get straight to it. So for the low levels, we run 3 Vampire Familiar, and 2 Retainer, and then 1 Sorcerer. So these two, they show the effect of if they're in the graveyard, you can send a vampire from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon them, but then you banish them afterwards. And if they're special summoned by any means, you can pay 500 life points to search a vampire card. Familiar searches a monster, Retainer searches a trap or spell, which are the key things I think that the vampires are missing in the form of Tribute Fodder, which wasn't solely relying on this guy. He's still good, but I think just you can't run more than one of him because he's just a lot slower compared to these two, which you need them for the tribute means as well as the link plays and everything. So I have all of those, and that's the low level ones. For the level 5s, I run 2 Vampire Duke. Just you normal it, it's a monster reborn, special summon it, it's a mill if you have it against the right deck. And then 3 Fräulein, which is essentially I think one of the key cards that made vampires more competitive. So any monster declares an attack, summon her in defense, and then during damage calc, if any zombie battles, you can pay up to 3,000 life points to deal damage, or increase the attack of one of your monsters that battles an opponent's monster. So it's very useful for that, so that your opponent pretty much ends up losing their stuff because they end up becoming too weak on it. And that's the thing with this deck now, where you essentially just you deal damage and then you gain life points back from other effects, which we'll get to in a sec. For level 6s, we got 2 Scarlet Scourge. Normal or special, pay 1,000, special summon a vampire from your graveyard, and then he, along with Fräulein, and then this other card, Red Baron, they all show the effect if they destroy a monster by battle, then they can special summon it to your side of the field at the end of the battle phase. And the Red Baron is, you pay 1,000 life points and then just change control of 2 monsters you control, including a vampire that you have. Again, he's decent, but 1's enough for this deck. And then for their support, we run 2 Shiranui Solitaire, double Uni, and then 3 Mizuki. Because it's just sort of like the format that I like to go with, which works out absolutely fine. And then that does it for the monsters. For the spells, we've got 2 Vampire Desire. So 2 effects. First off, send a vampire from your deck to the graveyard to make the level 1 monster you control the same as the one you sent. The other one is you swap the places of one monster you control with a vampire from your graveyard, and special summon it, and that's that. So either Monster Reborn or Foolish Burial, which is good in both cases. And then Vampire Domain, you pay 500 life points and you get to normal summon a vampire in addition to your normal summon, which is always a useful thing. And then the main thing about this, if you deal damage to your opponent, then you gain life points equal to the damage that they took. So this is your main resource of gaining life points back, along with one other card which we'll get to later, which is the main support for vampires, I would say, that made them a little bit more competitive, in a sense. And then 2 Vampire Kingdom, as an additional means of having a vampire card to get rid of, but it's also good for extra bonuses, and then if your opponent builds something, you get to pop a card they control if you want to. And then 3 Zombie Worlds, which is what screws over a lot of decks, just making all the stuff zombie types, and then neither player contribute summon stuff except for zombies. This can easily make a lot of players really just get annoyed, because if they have to play with certain types, they can't run stuff like Isoldes or anything like that. And then we have the 1 set rotation to help get these out of the deck more quickly. And then 2 Allure of Darkness, because it's draw power. I know it's at 3, but 2 I generally find is enough. 2 Book of Life, Monster Reborn for you, DD Crew for your opponent. And then finally 1 for 1. Just for getting familiar out of the deck, but you can easily replace it with something like a Raigeki or whatever. I just have the 1 available at the moment, and I can't be bothered to change it for the other ones. Then for traps, we have the 2 Vampire Awakening. You just summon a vampire straight from your deck, and then destroy it at the end phase, but you're going to use it for plays anyway. And then 3 Vampire Domination, which is basically a hard once per turn Infernity Barrier for vampires, but you also gain life points if you negate a monster effect, and you gain life points equal to their attack. So can't complain about that too much. This is definitely a very good disruptor. If it wasn't once per turn, then I think this could be pretty busted, and I think it would make vampires just smidgen better. And then that does it for the main deck. So side deck, 3 draw and lock, just stop any decks from searching. Go keys, any incantations, whatever there is, just very useful for that. Then double Ghost Ogre and double Effect Veiler, because these have always been useful throughout any means, and having them like that also proves beneficial because Veilers can still be good in certain circumstances. And then 3 Sphere mode to deal with Nightmare Locks and stuff, whatever big board your opponent has. And then Dark Hole, and then Monster Reborn because they're useful in their own regards. 2 Twin Twisters just to disrupt back row stuff, and 1 Solemn Warning, which you can replace with another Twin Twisters if you so want to, but this also works fine. And then that's the side deck. And then moving on to the extra deck, Clearing Synchro Dragon, because we couldn't technically make this, and I mean, never had to make it at any point, but it does have its purpose whenever it needs to show up. Black Rose, field clearance. Beals, because Beals, it's just there, it stops stuff from happening. Omega, sniping stuff your opponent's hand is always good. And then XYZs, we got Adrius, just destroying face-up cards is always nice. Crimson Knight Vampire Bram, because he's a classic and I kind of have to run it in this. 2 Vampire Sheridan, you send stuff to your opponent's graveyard and then special summon monsters from your opponent's graveyard that you can use for link plays. And if you have a monster that your opponent controls as a material, it's treated at level 6, so just using anything for it is always good. Vampiric Dragulus, just an additional means of having something. Again, I never had to use this, but having that Central Book of Moon effect and then just flipping up so your opponent sends something to the grave, it's always nice. And then if we need to push for game, we've always got the Gaia Dragon to help out with that. And then for links, Underclock Taker, because I've always found this card to be pretty useful. And then 2 Vampire Suckers. It's a card of safe return somewhat. When a zombie summon from the grave, you get to draw a card, and then you can use basically just storm forth your opponent's stuff whenever they're treated as zombies. So you have a zombie world on the board, you just strip at their stuff, and then go crazy from there. And then 1 Decode, because I still find him to be pretty useful from time to time. And then 1 Firewall Dragon, just because he's just a really annoying card that most people don't really like, but he is useful. So that's that. And then that does it for my Vampire deck. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I shall catch you next time for whatever I do next. So long, take care.